David Allen's book, Getting Things Done, is remarkable, not only because it sold 2 million copies in 30 different languages, but the underlying reason behind all of that is that it absolutely speaks to people about how they can create greater focus and freedom in their lives, how they can actually get more done with less stress. Also remarkable is a bit like sort of open source software. Everything is in there that you need to understand the comprehensive getting things done methodology. Nothing's left out, nothing's missing, there's no kind of hidden bits. As a result, as a coach and trainer certified by the David Allen Company to do this work, I often come across people who are self-trained, and often for many years they've been following videos and tips and forums and supporting themselves, of course, through the book as well in learning GTD. But invariably, there's some misunderstandings that they come into coaching with, and I've started to notice some patterns. So I'd like to explain to you 3 pitfalls, I guess you could say, 3 places where people potentially don't get as much as they possibly can out of the methodology due to some simple misunderstandings. And in this video, of course, I'd like to just clear those misunderstandings up for you. There's a kind of theme to the things that people come to me with that are sort of misunderstandings as self-taught GTDers, and overall, the overarching theme, sort of ironically, actually, is that they're trying so hard to do GTD right that they sometimes lose sight of the spirit of it all. They sometimes get so caught up in a way with the practicalities and mechanics of it, and make some assumptions, of course, about the methodology that are slightly incorrect, that they lose their self-awareness, right? That their drive for productivity and reduction in stress, they start to accept things into their lives about the methodology that are suboptimal for them, and then invariably they think the methodology has let them down. So one of the things that I see a lot is overtooling. People just well, put it this way, technology has solved a lot of problems and created a lot of problems for us. I think we're all aware of that. And because it has solved so many problems, I think there's a tendency to think that more is better. The reality is that in relation to yourself, in relation to your systems, in relation to your brain, very often more features are not necessarily helpful to you, right? They actually create friction. You're actually twiddling dials and working with flags and setting up all kinds of rules and tags and things, much of which can waste time or waste psychological energy, or in the case of a lot of these rules and routing procedures, are just shifting the problem around to different places, actually creating more places that you have to go to look to understand what you need to do at any point in time. So overtooling is a big key, and if you are a self-taught GTDer, I would just encourage you to really scrutinize your systems and your tools, the technology behind them, and really ask yourself in every moment, is this creating a sense of relaxation and productivity for me, or is this actually creating a bit of friction, and it was a good idea I need to let go of? The second thing is that, the weekly review we talk about as an absolute cornerstone of the GTD practice. So after kind of getting your inbox clear and doing that on a regular basis, doing regular weekly reviews are a big, big key. But again, here people often lose sight of the kind of intent of the weekly review. And one part of it is that, yes, you're looking at your system from lots of different ways and you're shoring up your system and you're getting it correct. But beyond correct, it's an amazing opportunity to kind of bump up to the meta level and look at how your GTD system is working for you. Are your projects really stated as clear finish lines? Are your next actions really self-evident and bite-sized? How's that waiting for a list going? Have you been using your agenda in meetings? Is the calendar, really effective, or do you need to find ways to block time to do a bit more processing? What's up? What's real for you? What's going to give you a greater sense of focus and freedom in your life? And so the weekly review, in a lot of ways, can become your opportunity to coach yourself if you take that spirit into the review. If you just do it by rote, yes, you will get benefit, but not nearly as much as if you use it as an opportunity to self-reflect as well. Finally, I think a much misunderstood and underutilized part of the Getting Things Done methodology is something we call the threefold nature of work. Here we basically say that you can either be defining your work, working from predefined inventories of work, or dealing with interruptions, dealing with work as it shows up. Those are really the only 3 states. But that statement in itself is kind of profound, because what happens is a lot of people don't do enough defining, so they don't have a really good inventory. So sort of the latest and loudest always looks sort of right, their work as it shows up. And they'll self-distract and they'll dive into emails and they'll let things into their world that they don't actually, really need in that moment to let into their world. So This is the way in which once you've kind of, yes, you've got to inbox zero, you started doing the weekly reviews, you built your system. This is the way in which you use your system effectively, practicing this art of knowing, well, when to say no, for example, and to capture something instead of just dealing with it in the moment. When it's time to attend to your inbox, when it's time to attend to a specific project and let yourself run down that path, that rabbit trail for a bit, because it is actually a productive move. And again, it is more of an art than a science, but it's one that you really need to keep concerted focus on as you go along. So all of this, again, comes back to self-awareness. It all comes back to how can GTD work for you? And frankly, what I've found coaching hundreds and hundreds of people is everyone's brain is different, right? That should come as no surprise to you. But so what we do in the one-to-one sessions is we really look at, what's true for you, what's up, what's working, what's not. How can we apply the principles? Because the principles are really pretty rock solid and universal. But how can we apply them to your situation? Where might there be some misunderstandings? These are three big keys, right? So if you are teaching yourself and working through GTD on your own, or even if you're interested in getting a bit of one-to-one help or support, have a look at your tools. Are you overbuilding them? Have a look at the weekly review. Are you just going through the motions there, or is it really a dynamic process you look forward to where you can self-evaluate how you're doing? And have a look at the threefold nature of work, especially if you haven't, if you've kind of missed that bit of the chapter. It's an absolute key to sustaining GTD and knowing what to focus on when, which is frankly the whole point. Relaxed focus, trusting your choices, that's it. I tell people if you're doing that, you're doing GTD right and well, right? So go and have a look at those things. I hope this has been useful. I hope it clears up some misunderstandings. There's a lot of other patterns I've seen over time. So depending on feedback and if people want more from these videos, I may go into a few more that I've seen another time. Hope this was helpful to you.